Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you guys for coming. Vergil Ortiz's latest win has not only caused chaos in the boxing world, but also among the top partners of Golden Boy Promotions. So I'm not fooled by what people might be saying about after feuding with Canelo Banga. And Shakur Stevenson. Oscar De La Hoya has chosen his partner Bernard Hopkins as his next victim to see. Yeah, he won, but will he win this way with Crawford? Finally, Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins are back to where they started after a heated argument happened between the pair. It got so serious that it almost led to a brawl until those on the scene got in between them to separate them. Like I was talking to Bernard right now. Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins have been business partners for years, and there's been no animosity between them until now. So what could cause this sudden uproar in the camp? Golden Boy Applause Promotions, who nice shot over the top. Well, a Golden Boy fighter had one of the most controversial wins of the year on Saturday night, and it raised several questions among fans and professionals of the sport. Shockingly, one of those who didn't find the win so convincing was Bernard Hopkins, who honored an interview after the fight and spoke doubtfully about Ortiz's win and his future. This was the genesis of their feud. Both fighters' big heart, big crowd is getting their dollars worth. While Bernard Hopkins wasn't so pleased with the win, Oscar De La Hoya was so overconfident that he blasted the boxing knowledge of those who questioned the win. This clash of opinions wasn't really brought up in the first few hours after the fight until Oscar De La Hoya learned of Bernard Hopkins' interview. While Bernard Hopkins sounded quite doubtful, Oscar De La Hoya isn't holding back. It was a close fight. Vergil attacked the entire night. Boeck, the legendary promoter, took to social media in a fiery defense of his fighter Vergil Ortiz Jr. Following the young boxer's controversial victory over WBC interim junior middleweight champion Sahib Bohachuk. The fight, which went down last Saturday night, has been the talk of the boxing world, and not in a good way. Fans are buzzing, and De La Hoya's social media rant only poured gasoline on the fire. Obviously deserves all the credit in the world. The controversy centers on the CompuBox stats, which De La Hoya decided to post as a rebuttal to the criticism Vergil Jr. has been facing. But Vergil won. Why do you feel he won in your opinion? But here's the kicker: the stats didn't do Ortiz any favors. According to the numbers, Bohachuk outperformed Ortiz, but the judges didn't see it that way, much to the dismay of fans who believe the Nevada judges were off their game that night. He was pressing the fight. There were not two knockdowns. De La Hoya's response: a scorching post on X laced with frustration. You don't know about boxing and the new Vergil Ortiz, so I'm not fooled by what people might be saying. This was in contrast to Bernard Hopkins, who after the fight said it is what it is. You sometimes get ugly wins that could be questioned. I think Crawford is a bit far. He's got to get rid of this ugly performance first to get excited about. I would like to see Vergil based on Saturday. And when they met after Bernard Hopkins' interview, Oscar De La Hoya questioned who he would ever talk down at their fighter or support his opponent. And while he said that Bernard Hopkins slammed him for choosing to lie and go against what's clear for all to see, this was the straw that broke Oscar De La Hoya's back, as he soon burst out in fury and thrusted himself towards Bernard Hopkins to hit him, but before he could, he was stopped by those with them. This Saturday, how he looks, how he executes, and how he wins. Sadly, Oscar De La Hoya was barking up the wrong tree. CompuBox doesn't lie, it just reports the punches, and those stats painted a picture that wasn't exactly flattering for Ortiz Jr. Despite De La Hoya's best efforts, fans know what they saw, and they're not buying the narrative he's trying to sell, that it gives me a blueprint to see. Yeah, he won. In the aftermath, De La Hoya, along with Ortiz's trainer Robert Garcia, wasted no time calling out Terence Crawford as the next opponent for Ortiz Jr. Bold move, but is it the right one? The backlash from the Bohachuk fight isn't going away, and jumping into a fight with Crawford without addressing the controversy could spell disaster for the numbers. Did they change? Yeah, so they did. The instant repat fans don't want to see what they consider a tainted fight, and that's a risk De La Hoya should think twice about. And let's not forget Crawford's own recent bout, a questionable decision over WBA junior middleweight champ Israel Madrimov. Crawford didn't look his best, and some say he got lucky with the judges pairing two fighters coming off contentious wins. Could be a recipe for disaster at the box office. So what's the move? Instead of lashing out at CompuBox and fans, De La Hoya might want to consider giving Bohachuk the rematch he deserves. Yeah, count the first one. Yeah. It was a slip, but Ortiz pressed the whole night. It's the only way to clear the air and give Ortiz Jr. a chance to prove he's the real deal if Virgil can't take care of Bohacek cleanly. His future against top-tier talent at 154 pounds looks bleak. The reality is Virgil Ortiz Jr. might not be the next big thing. De La Hoya is hyping him up to be a tough book, and I said it was going to be a fight of the year. As one insider put it, Ortiz is looking more like a modern-day Alfredo Angulo, a solid fighter, sure, but not someone who's going to dominate the sport. And if he doesn't get it together, he's going to hit a wall real soon on fight night. Virgil Ortiz Jr. refuted all that Sarai book and the boxing world threw at him Saturday night, enduring 2 knockdowns and the gripes that he had never gone the distance by winning a Hartford Jr. middleweight majority decision at Mandalay Bay. Big right hand for Bo. And another one. Texas's Ortiz won by scores of 113, 113-4, 112, 114, 112 by answering knockdowns in the first and 8th rounds with voluminous power punches. While those hammering blows have reduced so many other foes to oblivion, Ukraine's Bohacek was an immovable object, taking the shots to the head and body and continually responding with power rights and resilient brawn. Boom and B will right back that forced Ortiz into the deep waters past the 9th round for the first time in his career, and while it appeared Ortiz might be headed to his first defeat, he rallied impressively in the 11th and 12th, finally sending Bohacek reeling in the final frame to gain the decisive margin. Ortiz said it was due to his lifelong consistency of showing up at the gym and living cleanly since childhood. "I'm the best in the world," he said after strapping on the WBC's interim junior middleweight belt. He took from Bohacek otherworldly recuperative abilities. From Bohacek, he might indeed have the chance to prove it too, because Saudi Arabia's boxing power broker Turki Al-Sheikh was sitting ringside after telling Dane he wanted a victorious Ortiz 26 to meet newly belted 4 division and WBA junior middleweight title holder Terence Crawford. "Let's do it." A smiling Ortiz said, "I want it so bad." The action was instantly riveting, with Ortiz unleashing heavy bomb rights and referee Harvey Dock calling it a first-round slip when a Bohacek right landed cleanly to the head. Replay employed before the 5th round reversed the call and gave Bohacek a knockdown in a 10-8 round back right hand around Ortiz. Shy wasn't hurt by sending hard blows toward Bohacek. Throughout the round's remainder, the exchange was more of a mutual affair in the 2nd and 3rd, as each man landed crushing blows that were both encouraging and discouraging because neither man backed or budgeted. While Ortiz belted Bohacek with a wicked right uppercut, Bohacek answered with a straight right that didn't pause the relentless fighter, who had known nothing but knockout triumphs. A small cut on the bridge of Ortiz's nose emerged in the 4th, a spectacular fight between Bohacek and Ortiz. After the bad news of the replay ruling, Ortiz again took the setback, well pounding Bohacek's body and repeating that attention in the 6th, leading to a dramatic exchange. In the 8th, Bohacek scored his 2nd knockdown on a lead left hook to the head, which dropped Ortiz to his left knee. He protested to Dock to no avail. A cut over Ortiz's left eye emerged in the 9th. Bohacek snapped a crisp right to the head and appeared to seize the momentum through the 10th until Ortiz repeatedly smashed Bohacek with rights throughout the 11th. As Ortiz had Bohacek got ball, Bohacek finally weakened in the 12th after getting bashed by an Ortiz punch, losing his footing and briefly staggering backward, where he was met with more abusive glove-taped malfunction. Seconds later gave Bohacek a respite, but the pair finished as they started exchanging power rights. Bohacek grinned when asked how it felt to lose despite scoring 2 knockdowns, and his promoter Tom Loeffler protested. "Look at Virgil's face." But De La Hoya then had the mic, asking the fans, "Were you not entertained? That was the fight of the applause year. Who nice shot over the top on Thursday." De La Hoya told Boxing Scene he perceived the front runner for a victorious Ortiz to be a victorious time if the former WBO title holder could regain a 154 pounds belt as mandatory challenger to its belt holder Bekram Morez Aliv. In the fall, things changed as swiftly as words leaving the lips of Al-Sheikh, with Al-Sheikh telling Dane Beto Duran in a pre-fight interview that he wanted Ortiz to meet the 36-year-old Crawford. De La Hoya briefly mentioned that TSU was also in the mix, but then quickly sensed what the crowd wanted to hear, but that will be rude to